Do I have everybody's attention now?
James Horner reveals why he did not come back for the Amazing Spider-Man 2. And pretty much this thing says that Marc Webb was very inexperienced, and he and I had a very good relationship. And the producers had their own opinions. They didn't want his input, which is what we've been saying for a while. That we said this a while ago that he had no fucking control of this movie. Like they gave him, and they probably chose him, which is what we said a while ago, because he's new, a young director, and they can fucking control him on what he's gonna do.
And because his last name is Webb.
That could have been a reason why.
I doubt it, but
it's
weird. It's one hell of a coincidence.
Yeah, it is one of. I just noticed that. But okay, so then Sony had their own action. Pretty much he's saying that, to me, the whole thing about doing the movie was I liked the director, and there was a chance to write something for the two lead characters, and then she dies in the next movie. Spoilers. She fucking died.
I don't think that's a spoiler, since that's one of the most famous things in comics that everyone, even the mainstream knows that, I think.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't say the mainstream knows that. Most of my friends didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know many people that didn't know that, Gwen Stacy was dead. Most people were like, who's that? Because they didn't know who the fuck she was. Alright, so then the next thing says, but the next movie ended up being so terrible I didn't want to do it, and it was just dreadful. So the main thing about this is that what we've been speculating for a while is fucking true. Marc Webb had no control about this movie, and it kind of sucks that his reputation as like an indie director and as a director in general kind of came into question with this movie, because we're just shocked at how poorly paced, how poorly edited and shot the movie was. And again, I really disliked 2 like a lot.
Yeah,
I didn't hate 1, but I've seen 2 times or 3 times.
You have?
I think I've seen it twice. I think I saw it once in theaters and once on Blu-ray. And the movie has a lot of fucking problems, and how it should have ended, and I think the honest trailers for this movie, they all said that they did the same thing. Like, the movie has so much problems, and it just shows that Marc Webb had no control about what to write. Like, Sony was in his fucking ear the whole time. And that's upsetting, because this is what's gonna happen. This is because we all like when indie directors get a chance, but I feel that a lot of studios feel this way, and that's upsetting. Like,
well, yeah, it's like if you, I don't know, like it's like what I'm gonna be a broken record here, but what really irritates me about Amazing Spider-Man 2 is that, like, or kind of funny in a way, is that it's hilarious to watch Sony repeat the same mistakes they did in Spider-Man 3, except like just make it worse. Because like,
I would say that it's better than 3.
I
agree too. I like it better than 3.
I like 3 better than this, because at least 3, it actually had a wrap up. It tied up that trilogy. This was just a giant mess used to set up the Sinister Six, and
it got you hyped for the Rhino.
No, it did not.
It got Dylan hyped for the Rhino, maybe.
Because another thing is, like, at least for the villain overload, at least it used its villains until the end. It didn't set them up for another movie that was never going to happen. Like, this movie just took Amazing Spider-Man 2 just went on a downward spiral ever since it came out. It's like, when I first saw it, it's like, it's good but not great. Then I see it on Blu-ray, it's like, wow, there's some good elements here, but overall, it's a big disappointment. And now
I had the same reaction, although I still liked it enough that I picked it up on Black Friday because it was like $6.
Right, but well, now it's more, considering the movie more, it's gonna make my bottom 10 list.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's not gonna make. It might make my bottom 10, considering I haven't seen that many movies.
I haven't seen a lot of movies. Okay,
it's gonna be, well, I'll say it's gonna make my bottom 10 list, but it's gonna be like at number 9 or something, because it's not that bad. It's really, it's bad, but it's not. It's not Transformers 4. I want to claw my own eyes out bad.
If it wasn't a Spider-Man movie and it was just like a new IP, would you dislike it as much, or do you think that the disappointment factor had played a part in it.
A new IP.
Like if it was the first Spider-Man movie franchise that you saw, and you didn't know the Raimi ones, would you feel the same way?
That's hard to say.
Because 1 and 2 of the Raimi films were so good that's why people have high. People were expecting something with the new ones, and it just did not live up to it. So what he's asking is the fact that it's a Spider-Man movie, and you know what Spider-Man movies can be, did it disappoint you more knowing that?
I think it's more like what superhero movies can be now, because this year with the 4 live-action Marvel movies, I even wrote an article about this on Geek.Nation.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 of them ended up being ended up making my top 10 superhero movies. Huh?
Yeah, they're really good.
Like they were that good. Huh?
I guess the biggest disappointment about this whole franchise in general is that Spider-Man is probably the biggest Marvel superhero fucking ever.
He's their flagship character.
Yeah. And
you can argue Iron Man might be bigger now.
No. Before the movies.
Before the movies, it was Spider-Man.
Nobody that like did not read the comics knew who the fuck Iron Man was. Everybody knew Spider-Man from cartoons, from like comic books, from like lunchboxes. He was everywhere. And the fact that 4 Marvel movies came out this year, and they're number 4. But so fucking far down from the 3rd movie of any of the other movies. It's not even close. And it's almost like Sony doesn't know what to do with this, which is going to go into everything else we're going to talk about.
There's no focus.
Yeah.
There's no Kevin Feige. There's no one making sure everything's coherent. There's just like, this sounds like a good idea. Let's just go ahead and do it. And they don't put thought into it.
It's like in a post Iron Man, Dark Knight, and Avengers era of superhero movies, we really deserve better than what the Amazing Spider-Man 2 presented.
Yeah.
It was a movie that came out 10 years too late.
Yeah. I just wanted a movie that was better than the first Spider-Man movie. I didn't get that because I like it, but I'm not a big fan of the first Spider-Man movie. I adore Spider-Man 2, but the first one I think is just pretty good. And this one was very disappointing.
When I saw the Amazing Spider-Man 1, I left going, that wasn't that bad, but 2 is going to be fucking amazing because they're going to fix everything. It's going to be awesome. Marc Webb,
I even said that on the podcast.
And then all of a sudden you're like,
dude.
It's so